2020 Tantra, Crown Tantra, info in the description. So, like I said, I will be giving away the 2020 Tantra audiobook for at least at least for 30 days. So, or the rest of the year. So, from November 20th, which is today, till the Great Conjunction. And that's just promises made, promises kept, you know. So, I'm going to go into it real quick. It's only like 12 pages, but it's it's nutritionally dense. So, here we go. 2020 Tantra by R. Bud. Presence. Without presence, nothing can be fully enjoyed or even remembered. Sexuality has everything to do with presence. When you are not immersed in the moment at hand, you cannot express your full sexual capacity. Expression of sexual energy is what causes all events of life to unfold. Literally every event that has ever taken place in the human experience stems from sexual energy. When your sexuality is hindered, your capacity to attract is compromised. You must totally feel the moment to enjoy a moment. Allow moments to happen by being completely present in them. When the supreme male and female energies combine, there is harmony within one's body. When there is harmony between male and female within a person, they can see past the illusion of duality. You can see how complete all of life is and how perfect each breath is. Once the shackles of male versus female have been removed, you can no longer seesaw internally and can be the entire you, instead of a shade or fragment of your being. You become a shell of yourself when you succumb to the definition of a self. Since you are infinity expressing itself, there are no limits to your being, and any definition that you adhere to will slowly destroy you. We create definitions of ourselves for boundary, to further promote the illusion of separation that comes with a supposed finite reality or 3D identity. Once we let go of what we think we are or who we think we are supposed to be, we can fully express the creative energy within us. When you are overly concerned with what you think, you have no choice but to be concerned with what others think. This is giving in to the internal dialogue. The endless array of auditory thought is what causes the internal strife and sensation of separation within oneself. Auditory thought is left brain thinking, rational thoughts, thinking within the confines of a language. That is auditory thought. Auditory thought is conditioned thought, which has been impressed upon you from the start. We, as infinitely connected beings, never really needed auditory language for clarity or to connect. When there is less internal traffic or noise within one's being, there is peace. The internal dialogue traffic stems from nervous system issues. When one has cleansed the body and allowed the universal breath to catch them, the nervous system can come back into balance, and thus internal silence resides within. When there is a deep quiet within a person, when their organs and glands are clean and functioning properly, that person can live deeply in the moment. The key to the moment is the breath. The breath is the initial yin and yang that births the rest of life. Once in touch with the universal breath of life, all fear subsides, because the breath is the key to our immortality. Our immortality is what allows us to see beyond the carnal distractions and traumas of the 3D realm. The true values surface as the breath is harnessed, and thus full expression begins to take place. Emotional momentum is a force that we all have to acknowledge at some time in life. When you are totally feeling, you can feel the universal will that is perpetuating life itself. You can begin to sense the subtle flows of energy. Only by allowing yourself to accept the moment you can receive these typically unseen energies. Once you become acquainted with them, you can control their path by using the body as the conduit of light that it is. The blood is the light, and when energies come through your being, you can focus on moving it throughout the system via the blood. Circulation is regulated by the breath, of course. There is more blood in the lower lungs, and if you breathe from the diaphragm, your circulation will increase, and once it increases, more air and nutrients can be transported through the body more rapidly. Toxins and waste can also be more rapidly eliminated when the circulation is at its full potential. No sexual acts can take place without proper blood flow. No sexual act can reach its full potential without controlling the flow of air to the lower lungs and channeling the heat or sexual energy upwards from the sexual organs to the brain via the spine or cranial sacral rhythm. Obstructions in the digestive tract cause so many issues sexually, whether it's premature ejaculation, impotence, or total lack of drive. If there is pressure from the rectum on the prostate of the male, there will be more heat and pressure on him as he performs sexually. That excess pressure blocks the flow of air from getting to the sex organs, and it prevents the sex energy from cycling up the entire spine and throughout the entire being. When you have the heat of the male from the blood and the heat from the female sex organs, as well as internal pressures, poor circulation, and poor diet, you have bad sex. Even if you can manage to have decent sex under these circumstances, the feeling won't last. The sexual energy between the two people will be burnt out quickly because you are essentially hemorrhaging energy or light. You will require more sexual deviance to cope with the numbness that comes with improper sex. You will need more partners, and it will become increasingly difficult to satisfy yourself, let alone somebody else. When the energies of two beings match, we have true chemical affinity. When two beings use chemicals to force a match, we have mechanical oneness. Mechanical oneness is purely carnal. Indulging in chemicals to force a false sense of oneness can only create more numbness and block you from sex with someone who has true affinity with you. Are you giving up who you could meet for who you think you know? If there is a natural resistance within your being, you have to honor that. You have to be loyal to your energy and what it's telling you. It is self-rape to force your body to have sex with somebody that does not match your level of sexual understanding and empathy. When the emotional IQ between two people isn't equal, there can only be misunderstanding on all levels. This inevitably causes a connection to burn out because it was forged under false pretenses and will lead to sexual and emotional trauma. All bad sex stems from lack of consideration for your own body and thus your partner's as a result. Sex should be witnessed. It should not be forced. You must accept the moment, allow your body to feel without emotionally flinching, and observe the sexual act between infinite beings. The body knows what to do, and you have to trust it. It never does anything to harm itself. It only wants to survive, but the auditory thoughts are the government of the body for most people. So they identify with the thoughts instead of being the listener of the thoughts. If we clean the body and put it in position to feel wholeheartedly, then sex is effortless. Life is effortless. When you find the sexual rhythm within your body, you can realize that this rhythm is not separate from the universal rhythm. There is a universal will, heartbeat, pulse, breath, etc. Once you find this within you, you become it. This brings you to your core, the core of all creation, where you are infinitely powerful and protected by the care energy, or love. This is your true identity. When we strip down to our core, we can experience emotional nakedness, emotional nudity. With that, we can see others who are naked, as well as others who are emotionally flinching still from their traumas. When we are naked emotionally, physical nakedness is nothing. Being emotionally naked with another person is looking directly into the mirror of creation. This is the epitome of healing and acceptance. When you get a viewpoint beyond yin and yang, you can see the sexual organs as ours instead of mine and theirs, or theirs. The penis is a bridge of communication, and it must be seen as ours or nobody's in order to dissolve the separation between male and female. There is a point of pleasure on the penis where communication is at its peak when the penis is engorged with blood or light fully. The communication is stronger and it is more difficult to have premature ejaculation as long as you stay on top of your breathing. The point of pleasure is the home base for sex. This point where the most sensation is felt within the vaginal canal is where the true oneness can be observed. Throughout the sex, if you return to this spot periodically, you can continue to reset and prevent ejaculation. Ejaculation is caused by the phallus overheating and the light welling up in the shaft in one area to where the seed can no longer be held, and thus ejaculation ensues. Males must retrain their sexual triggers. The soft overcomes the hard, like water dissolves stone. A male has to know when to be soft or limp in different areas of the shaft of the phallus throughout the sex. The pressure along the shaft has to be constantly changed as the climate in the vaginal canal changes. You have to shift the light or blood up and down accordingly throughout sex, or the light will well up in an area and you will pop or ejaculate. This changes the mental conditioning of sex from to achieve personal pleasure to selflessly giving, thus receiving the best experience as a result. All signals from the phallus, as well as the entire body as a whole, have to be taken into consideration now. Nothing can be enjoyed without health, especially sex. Sexual vitality, vigor, is health. This is the potent creative energy that perpetuates the flow of creation for eternity. There can be no health without sexual health. Sexual chi, or energy, is lost rapidly when one ejaculates. The blood shifts from the brain and digestion, everywhere in the body really, and the blood is pulled to the sexual organs when having sex. So having clean blood that isn't being eaten by parasites is paramount. When the body is clean and the blood isn't being used to constantly regenerate sperm, the thoughts can be clear. The emotions flow, and sex itself is just a result of you having less toxins and less blockages between you and your own sexual energy. The more raw the diet, the better. The body needs live foods that don't obstruct the airflow in the system. When there is not enough airflow, temperature control is lost, and the body is forced to retain more water to counter all toxins, excess food in the system. Toxins and excess food. This inhibits blood flow and creates a flooding of thoughts. The system being forced to be flooded with water to compensate, which leads to obstructed sexual chi, and thus attraction levels are being blocked. Because if you eat more earth, you need more water to counter it. So the body takes on more water to compensate for the pH. The momentary pleasure that males claim that they have while ejaculating is totally from mental conditioning and endorphin abuse. The long-term pleasure of being able to have sex continuously for hours and not dropping your energy, which welcomes adverse thoughts and feelings into one's life, the dropping of the energy. It is much more satisfying to not drop the energy and not have the brief petite mort sensation that so many have become addicted to. Ejaculation burns the prostate out, makes it swell, and further increases the pressure from the rectum. This friction causes hypersexuality, and this is why so many are addicted to porn and masturbation. Porn is essentially a sinkhole where you toss your sexual energy away through these liquid crystal displays or screens and don't receive anything back consciously from these crystals. When you give to things unconsciously, your returns on your energy will also be unconscious. Things will happen to you that seem like chance or bad luck, but this is a direct result of investing energy into unconscious behavior, which forces you to experience unconscious returns on these outputs of energy. Everything that gives will take equally. But if you pull from the infinite core of your being, which wants to selflessly give, because it sees all as one, you can please others infinitely, which pleases you. You have to know the condition of your energy now. And work with that accordingly. Some may need years of tantric training to master holding the seed properly. Some might not need much time at all to get in touch with this immortal gift that is sexual energy. This is the path of infinite creative energy. The other direction is impotence, erectile dysfunction, frustration, broken energy, prostate problems, resentment. Females that demand ejaculation are addicted to the energy that comes off the male when he ejaculates. This lustful energy is completely corrosive energy. Any female that wants their partner to decapitate himself spiritually like such is not in alignment with the truest will. This inevitably makes the male subconsciously resent her and burns out sexual experiences. She will require more and more lust energy to feel that fleeting creative power. Females absorb so much lust energy as well as any other dysfunctional residue from merging with a spiritually or energetically decapitated male. She is only inviting more unconsciousness into her life as she becomes intertwined with corrosive energies like these. She will only attract other males that can smell her sexuality or pheromones and want to continue to kill themselves slowly through self-rape sex through her. Males can smell other males on a female without even knowing it. The same goes for females. Females can smell other females on you, and if you have been having multiple partners, you will only continue to attract more of partners in that realm of the field, the energy field. If you take care of your energy, you will only meet those who have met themselves deeply. The other encounters are just distractions. As you increase energy and stay away from corrosive behaviors, you have no choice but to attract your reflections. You have to be clean to see through the mirror clearly. The body must be flush with alkalizing herbs and distilled water. Here are some herbal suggestions that will change your sexual chi instantly for most. Saw palmetto, burdock, yellow dock, red clover, sarsaparilla or sarsaparilla, dandelion root. An intense cleaning herb is Cascara sagrada and should be used sparingly. Black walnut capsules, wormwood capsules, rhubarb root powder, and you could also use activated charcoal and food-grade diatomaceous earth to scrape the plaque off the walls of the digestive tract. Since the breath is paramount for creation, breathing exercises are fundamental to sexual vitality. We get so lost in past traumas that we think of the future through the jaded lenses of the past. This causes us to breathe shallow. As infants, we breathe from our diaphragms. We expanded the belly fully to expand the lower lungs and get as much air to all the blood that there is in the lower lungs as possible. This is an innate feature that we come equipped with. Shallow breaths lead to shallow thoughts, and thus a shallow life. Controlling the breathing and staying on top of it is key to controlling your sexual energy and accepting the moment at hand. So what is breath work? Breath work is your armor and your credit card. Inhale and expand the belly while pushing the air downward to the lower lungs. Apply pressure like you would if you were to stop your urine midstream. Also apply pressure to the roof of the mouth with the tongue. This locks the air in the chambers of the lungs so the pressure can change properly in the system overall. When the air is locked in, you utilize each breath to its full potential, getting all the light or vibration out of the air. You fully metabolize it. You exhale it. You can do it quietly, or you can do it with healing sounds. Hold on. When you push your tongue to the roof of the mouth, you're pushing on your pituitary gland, which pushes the pineal gland, and then you stimulate the light in the brain. When you inhale, you hold it for 30 seconds. Exhale for 7 seconds. Gradually increase the time and focus on maintaining the pressures all at once. If you can get in full lotus position, do so. There are many healing sounds. I'll go over a few. You can start from the root upward. It will be ah, you, so, like solar plexus, e, like the ether chakra, son, you'll feel it in your sinuses, som, the cranial, the brain, the whole cranium will vibrate off of som. Also sh and s for lungs and liver. 3 cycles from ah to som, which is 18 total breaths. And then you have 6 sh and 6 s sounds. And then you have 7 through the mouth and out of the mouth. 7 through the nose and out of the nose. 7 through the nose and out of the mouth. 7 through both the nose and the mouth and out both the nose and the mouth. 7 through one nostril, 7 through the same nostril but exhale through the mouth. 7 through the other nostril and exhale through the nostril. 7 through the other nostril but exhale through the mouth. 7 through the nose and out the nose. 7 through the nose and out the mouth. And if you get tired in between, you can do 10 quick breaths, complete breaths, between these singular holds so that you can catch up your breathing. The less breaths you do per minute, the more you're staying in the parasympathetic nervous system and the more your entire body relaxes, so that when the whole body is relaxed, the erection can be hard. When the rest of your body is soft and relaxed, the erection can be fully hard, and then you can fully feel and be felt. So if you ever attract someone on your level of breathing, once you've mastered diaphragmatic breathing, you can experience an even deeper level of limitlessness. All personas can melt when the breath is matched with your partner. You can no longer tell the difference between being one entity with 2 bodies or being one body and 2 entities observing the bodies when the breath is matched. Total selflessness can unfold if vibration and breath are matched during sex. Many only get fleeting feelings of this in a lifetime. This can be sustained eternally. You can feel each other's emotional wounds until you reach the energy level to patch yourself. There is nothing more healing than selfless giving, especially with something as intimate as sex. When infinite energy is realized, sexual ownership fades. You don't concern yourself with sexual dominion of others. You want for others what you want for you: autonomy, infinite potential. Anything you try to hold on to or force will repel from you. If you constantly see the other as you can never want to control them because you don't want to be controlled. If you know your core, you know how to follow the will of each day and respect it, knowing that it has your greatest values and intentions at heart. The universal will is your will, and if you align with it, you can flow through the events of life seamlessly. If you eject your power or your energy outwardly via ejaculation, you give up the responsibility or energy, because energy is responsibility, of viewing your own destiny or fate. You should only ejaculate when you have to forego immortality for vicarious immortality. If you are not consciously attracting souls to learn from via the pregnancy, life, and death cycle, then you should not ejaculate. You can still attract souls, facets of you externalized, and communicate through sex without having children. The energy that brought your parents together was you. That sexual energy was you, and that energy has been crystallized into a body of energy for you to experience physical form, which is just dense metaphysical form. The body is an antenna that forces you to respect what drives you to create. If you don't acknowledge the compass within, the breath is the compass, you will slowly eat yourself alive. In order for the antenna to have the best reception, there must be quality blood, light, and quality airflow. You can stay whole while merging if your body isn't obstructed within. When we fail to acknowledge our emotional pressures within and can no longer create emotional space physically, we look to chemicals to create space between ourselves and our emotions. We look to numbing agents. We dehydrate and numb various areas of the body in order to get desired endorphin effects that block senses the way we prefer. The body is a fixed system. If something comes, something goes. If a door is blocked, another is open. Being aware of what is open and closed is alchemy. Controlling that is the pinnacle of alchemy. Control comes from realization and acceptance. That is the universal will. It is your truest will. And all that happens is an extension of this one will that is your truest identity, the Tao. When you realize you are complete, you have wholesome interactions, endeavors, attract wholesome people and projects. When people are complete within themselves, there is no expectation within, for there is no way to know infinity, only to be it. Expectations only cause pain. They stem from your idea of what life can be, based on the idea of what you think you may be. Knowing and expecting are the root of all pain, and they stem from pride, which is the lust of certainty. To feel something against you, to feel separation, to know definition. When you know you are always with everyone, you know you are always in love because it is always in you. Nothing is separate, all space is filled. Emotional and sexual capacity will vary from person to person. Some may be satisfied with what could be deemed less to others and vice versa. Ultimately, sex cannot be sustained without being in control of the light. Light is heat. Melanin allows us to control the light or heat and use it how we please. So many are having their melanin leached as they spill energy constantly. Some will need more repair than others. Some have the capacity to genuinely stay present with and admire many people at one time. Some simply do not have the energetic capacity to service these connections in a wholesome fashion. Some don't have the emotional capacity to let go of the ideas of themselves, so they refuse to let go of the people that provide a construct for these ideas of self. Letting go of them means letting go of who you thought you were. You all prop each other's false identities up through giving in the carnal pressures. When everyone is emotionally naked in their communication, it doesn't matter what words are being said really. The understanding permeates through us all. Though only a few have their first eye open to see the flows of the Tao and the subtle signs, the small changes all. Changing small behaviors today is the biggest leap one can take. When the separation is dissolved within, where you are no longer torn within yourself, you can begin to connect with others in deeper ways as you go further within your infinite source. Use your own light to return to the source of light. Other reminders or reflections of that are nothing more than the extensions of ourselves, or facets of ourselves externalized. Allow yourself to be. 2020 Tantra by R. Butt. That's 2020 Tantra. It's quick. And I know a lot of people ask me about females and ejaculation. If females release water during orgasm, they lose kidney chi. Kidney chi obviously associated with the lower back. When you have a loss of kidney chi, you're going to lose that drive to gain money, which will create the resentment because you'll be more lethargic from creating that emotional attachment through the loss of water, release of water. You then don't have the energy. You've given up the energy to the male. So then you resent him because you don't have the energy that you were using to generate sustenance or money, currency, however you look at it. So it goes both ways. That's 2020 Tantra for you guys. And enjoy. The rest of the books, if you would like the other 39, email me, royalt512@yahoo.com. And I have 3 other books in audio. And it's for 100, or you can get each one individually for 10. And then I have the premium videos as well that show the breathwork techniques and everything, and many other insights into this lifestyle. So that's that.